Right, so now we're going to be making this render right here. So you're going to see that we have a garage, which we have built ourselves using Megascan's asset. And then we have this McLaren car right here. Apart from that, we also have some like random assets here and there. Also, we have this, this is rendered in path tracing in Unreal Engine 5. And this is rendered in, what do you call it, in lit mode, in basically your lumen mode. So if I just set this my screen percentage to 120, you're going to see a better view of this. And so you can get really good results with Lumen as well. However, path tracing is obviously always going to give you slightly better and more realistic results. So you're going to see that in the reflections and everything in this looks just look ever so slightly better than this. But I mean, obviously this does come with a very high rendering time cost. And maybe you can reduce the exposure of this slightly to make this look a little better. Yeah, you can make tiny adjustments to make it look similar. However, path tracing is obviously always going to look better. Yeah, so let's begin and let's create a new project. So what I'm going to do, what you can do is you can simply open up a brand new Unreal Engine project by simply going to games and then creating a blank project. Make sure that ray tracing is turned on if you have an RTX graphic card. Otherwise, you can just leave it off. And once you're in Unreal Engine 5, like I am, you can just go ahead, go to File, and then create a new level. Just create a new empty level, and then we can just go ahead and create. So I'm just gonna click select save selected, and now you're gonna see that we have a brand new level right here. I'm gonna open my content browser. Let's press Control S. So what I'm gonna do with that is that I'm gonna be saving this level. I'm just gonna call it garage_ss. I think that should be good. Then we can just go ahead and save it. Just ignore all these assets, by the way. They are from my previous projects. You obviously aren't gonna have any assets if you have created a new project. So yeah, what I'm going to do firstly is that I'm going to go to landscape mode, and we can just create a landscape, just a basic landscape, so that we have something to work with and something to import our car onto. And then I'm going to go to window, environment light mixer, and then I can just create a skylight, atmospheric light, sky atmosphere, volumetric cloud, and height fog, just so that we have a basic lighting setup ready. And I'm just going to go to skylight, and I'm going to turn on real-time capture so that our shadows and our shadows look more realistic. Just press save all, save selected, and now we can just go to the internet and we can choose a 3D model of a car. So I'm just going to go to the internet and I'm going to search for car 3D model. And I usually use sketchfab.com, but you can use any of these other websites as well. Just be sure to use a trusted, reputable website. And you can get free models as well, or you can just pay for models as well if you want. Obviously, paying for models is going to get you better quality models. Usually that's the case. But yeah, just do your own research and just pick whichever model you think is the best. Right. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to be choosing a car. The one which I chose in my previous scene was this one, McLaren Spider. And this time, honestly, I can just choose anyone. Honestly, I'm just going to choose this one because I already do have this imported. So you can just download whichever model you like. But I'm just going to be downloading this McLaren Spider again because I have textured and used this model once. So I know exactly how to work with this model. And the good thing about this model is that it does come with an interior as well. So if you want an interior shot, then just be sure to choose a model which comes with an interior because a lot of them are going to be empty from the inside. And so yeah, just keep that in mind. Right, so once you have decided a model, be sure to make sure if you want to download a free model, make sure that it has this download sign right here. Otherwise, it's not going to be downloadable. For example, this one right here is not downloadable, and a few other ones are not going to be downloadable as well. And if it has this dollar sign on it, then that means it's paid. So you can just pay for the model if you want. And yeah, just download the model. And now you can either download it in FBX format. FBX format is usually the best if it is available. In this case, it's not available. So we're just going to be downloading the OBJ format. Now the problem with the OBJ format is that you cannot directly import it inside of Unreal Engine. If you do, you're going to face a problem, which I'm going to be showing you in just a bit. So you can just download that. All right, so I'm just going to be canceling this download because I already do have this downloaded. So I'm just going to open that. Let me go to my downloads folder and you can see it right here. So just open the zip file and just go to the source file, and it's gonna give us this RAR file, and you're gonna see that we have a .obj file and a .mtl file, right? So I'm just gonna be dragging out this .obj file and dropping it right here. Now the thing is, if I just import this file inside of Unreal Engine, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna right click in Unreal Engine, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this car underscore SS. So basically the reason why I'm telling you to create a folder is because it's going to come up with, the car is going to come in different pieces, which we're going to be assembling to make the car, right? So that your scene doesn't get very disorganized, I want you to create a folder, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be importing that .obj file inside of Unreal Engine like that. And if I press import, you're going to see that the problem is that it only comes in, I'm just going to ignore these errors, by the way. The problem is that it only comes in one, in one file, right? And so that the reason why that is a problem is because we can't have one texture on the whole car, right? We obviously want different textures in different parts of the car. So I'm just going to delete that. Let me get rid of these as well by pressing delete. And so what I'm going to be doing instead is that I'm going to be taking this .obj file into Blender. So I'm just going to be opening Blender. Now you can do this in other 3D softwares as well. And I am assuming that you know the basics of at least any 3D software. So I'm just going to delete everything, because usually it is generally assumed when you learn Unreal Engine that you at least do know some 3D software. So I'm just going to go to File, Import, and I'm going to be importing a wavefront file, which is going to be a .obj file. And I'm just going to go to Desktop, and let's just browse over to where I had that. I think it was right here, McLaren Spider. Let's import OBJ, and inside of Blender, you're going to see that it's going to come in different parts, which is perfect, right? So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be exporting this as an FBX, and that FBX file I'm going to import inside of Unreal Engine. So I'm just going to go to File, Export, and FBX. And so I'm just going to be exporting it on the desktop. Let me just call this car, actually McLaren, right? Export FBX. I'm just going to go to Unreal Engine again, and let's just drag in that FBX file. I think it's still exporting it. Yeah, I think it's done. So I'm just going to be clicking M. There it is on the corner. I'm just going to be dragging that FBX file into Unreal Engine's content browser, import all, and make sure that your skeletal mesh is not turned on, and just ignore all these errors. Let's go down. Now you're going to see the good thing that has happened is that we have a lot of these materials and a lot of these assets, which is exactly what we are looking for. So how exactly do we bring this car in our scene? It's pretty simple. You just simply select the first asset. So don't select any material, just select the first asset, go down to the last asset, hold shift on your keyboard and select that, so that you have all these assets selected. Now you can just select any one of them and then drag them in our scene, and you're going to see that the car just appears in our scene. Perfect. I think it looks pretty good, and that is our car. Right, so now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be, now before we move further, just click save all, and it is going to take a bit to save all these files, and I will see when it's done. Alright, so now the saving has been completed, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be starting with the texturing of this car.